cried about 5 times. Just girly things. I am full of dumb bitch energy this month. This is so petty, but I have to do it. Hi, welcome back. I am back from Torino. If you haven't seen, I've done a vlog in which I've gone to the biggest book fest in Italy. It was a fun time, but I've learned that YouTube does not like book fest vlogs. I don't know why. I've done 2 and they both flopped for some reason. So I'm back with my... Which month am I in? I'm in June, so May wrap up. It's a little bit late, I know. I should have done this last week, but I was in Torino and then I was lazy. One last note. It is Pride Month, so I wanted to do something fun. Next week, I'm going to do like a queer recommendations for queer books by queer authors, etc, etc. If you have some recommendation, can you please leave them in the comments and help me out with this video? I'm going to do a community tab like post to gather information because you know more than me. There are a lot of books that don't get translated into Italian, so that I cannot get my pulse on them. So I've done a video in which I read some of my most anticipated books for this year, so you can check it out, just like the vlog. And I read some of those books, so I'm not going to go into much details, but still, I read some pretty freaking amazing books. Starting with When the Angels Left the Old Country by Sasha Lamb. What an amazing book! What an amazing start! They had described it to me as Good Omens steeped in Judaism and a little bit more romantic, and that's exactly what it is. It's a story of an angel and a demon, but in not like the Christianity stereotypical sense, like in the Judaism sense. Like it's really rooted into Jewish society and religion and folklore. And they have to go to America from, I believe, Warsaw, to rescue a girl from their community, and this, in the meantime, they discover themselves and what it means to be an angel and a devil in a more modern world, because we are like post-war. I think post-World War II. It was just so good. It was just good. I don't have a lot to say. It was just so good. The writing was compelling. The plot was a bit aimless, but still very fun. The characters, Little Ash, our angel, Uriel, they were just so incredibly fascinating. And the language that was used was kind of foreign to me, but I love researching new words and languages, so it was, a fun time, a fun time. I think I gave it 4.5 stars, 4 stars, something like that. And then I read Happy Place by Emily Harry. Do I have it? Yes, I have it. Wait here. So I read Happy Place by Emily Harry. What do I have to say? It was a full-blown 5 stars. Possibly one of my favorites by Emily Harry. This and Book Lovers, they're like up there on the podium. This is a dual timeline in which we see the main couple in the present, where they have to go to this cottage with all of their friends for the last time, because the cottage is getting, I think, bought by somebody else, and they have to pretend to still be together even though they have broken up like a month ago and told nobody. And then you see the past in which they start as friends and then they become lovers and then they eventually break up. And it's heartbreaking, and I think there's no author like Emily Harry that can capture what it is to be friends for a long time and the tension of starting as friends and then going into this wonderful relationship that has setbacks that are not like your fault. It's not the fault of the characters. It also delves in mental health and really what it is to be friends for a really, really long time, where people change and not every time they change together. So incredibly good. Also, like the sexual tension, marvelous, 5 stars. Then I read a poetry collection, which is very unusual for me, but it was written by somebody who I follow religiously online, especially on TikTok. There is this content creator called Berkeley, and they published a poetry collection to kind of exorcise the death of their brother that happened, I think, sometime last year, and the poetry is really good. They talk about fandom, especially supernatural. It talks about death, it talks about grief, but also supernatural and Dean Winchester. As you can see, I've marked my favorite poems. There are quite a lot. Some of them are really similar to each other, but This is the version with the drawing, like Rupi Kaur style, but all the proceeds of this kind of edition, this black one, goes to Random Acts of Kindness, which is an organization in the US. So I don't know, I felt like really full of warmth and contentment after I finished this poetry collection. So I think I gave it 4.5 stars, something like that. The last book I read for that vlog, it was just like, baby, oh baby, Have an Official Blessing Volume 2. This is the 5th time that I'm reading this series and it's still unbearably good. Like, it's kind of unbearable how good this series is. This is a Shasha novel, a Chinese web novel that is going to be published in Italian next year. This is in English. That talks about deities in Chinese mythology, and it's a love story spanning 800 years, and the mystery that it's really complex and compelling, and like, it's just so good. The writing is fantastic. The quotes that you can pull from the series are like the best, and I'm just so in love. Of course, 5 stars. I cried about 5 times. Just girly things. And then I read a random audiobook because, you know, I love waking up and listening to audiobooks and then going to sleep listening to audiobooks. And usually I listen to like trashy romances for which my brain can just shut off. But this time I chosen a fantasy rom-com, which I did not know that it could exist, but it's such a fun genre. So I read So This Is Ever After by F.T. Lukens, and I was very pleasantly surprised. Usually this is a YA rom-com romance, it's a queer romance. Usually when these YA books come out, they are very bland and boring and their writing is juvenile and unbearable. This, however, was charming. And I don't know what it did that was different. Maybe it was the narrator that was really good, but I don't know. It was actually kind of really, really good. It's a love story between the paladin that like defeated the old evil king and his mage. And there's like this ragtag team of like other paladins and thieves and creatures that tagged on for the adventure and are now settling into the palace because the paladin took on the role of the king. And there's a magical contract that says that if he doesn't find a wife or a partner before his 18th birthday, he's going to die. And they're like idiots in love, and it was so charming, so cute, really fun. I think I gave it 4 stars. It was really cute. And I went back to trashy romance. So I had stars. This is the 2nd book in the VIP series by Kristen Callahan. Did I know that this was a 2nd book in a series? No. I am full of dumb bitch energy this month. It was okay. It was just okay. It was the most average book that you could ever find. The sex was okay. Like, conflict was okay. I think she's like a journalist that did a really bad thing in her past, and she gets to work for the band that she kind of disrupted a long time ago, and it was just incredibly mid. Fun though, but mid. And then I did another dumb bitch move in my dumb bitch month. Lauren Lust, which I think I still put in my most anticipated books, or like 23 books for 2023, something like that. This is, it was promised to me as a luscious, beautifully gothic vampire romance. Yeah, this is, well, it's definitely a queer romance between vampires. It's not luscious. It's kind of really cringy, really, really cringy. There's no plot. Like, there's no plot. And it pretends to have one, which is the aggravating thing. The thing that really put me off of this book is that one of the 2 protagonists, one is a Japanese really, really powerful vampire, and the other one is an Italian vampire who has almost no power and is really, really shy. One, his personality, I'm sorry, he was such a nice kid, but it was really bland. I think Haruka, the Japanese vampire, our protagonist, really needed a stronger presence to like bounce off, and Nico was just meek. The other thing is, Nico is Italian, I am Italian. All of the cultural details were wrong, all of them. from the names to the translation of the Italian to the cultural significance of some foods like the spritz. It was all wrong. How do you get it so wrong? I know the tourists, when they come to Italy, everybody sees Italy like it's described in this book. And it pains my heart because everything is wrong, like completely. Bugs my heart because even the translation, there's some Italian dialogue in this, written in Italian and then translated, and the translation gets so much wrong because there's nuance in words, because it's a language. You cannot just Google translate everything you see. I don't know who told the author that Aperol Spritz is an aperitif. They're in Milan, so I get it. It's treated like a cocktail in Milan. This is so petty, but I have to do it for me. I have to do it for me. Aperol Spritz is treated like a cocktail if you're like from central to the south of Italy. But if you're in the north, and Nico's family has a mansion and like factories that produce spritz in the north of Italy, so they know Aperol Spritz is Aperol Spritz. Spritz is spritz. It's not an aperitif, it's not a cocktail, it's what we drink when we say, let's go drink something. Let's go do an aperitivo, which is not an aperitif. It's not the same word. I'm sorry, but it's not. Say aperitivo. There's not an actual translation from the word aperitivo with the meaning that we have in the north. I am a petty bitch, but it needs to be said. Yeah, I think I give it like 2.5 stars. It was a half-baked romance. I'm sorry. And then I read The Queer Surprise of the Month. This is the last book that I've read. I was so happy that I liked this book because I was so hesitant. I read The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrane. This was so good on my heart. I needed to read this book. This is a contemporary romance between the star of a new like reality TV show, just like The Bachelor, who is like a tech billionaire, and his TV producer who really believes in love, and he believes in this reality TV to be like the jump point for a love story. Deals with homophobia. It deals with mental health. One of the two protagonists, Charlie, has OCD and the other one suffers from depression. And I really saw myself in Dev, and it was such an honest portray of what it is like to be in a relationship and in love with somebody who is struggling. And I really liked it. I liked that they struggled in their relationship, even though it was silly and fun and kind of like cute. It was a perfect blend. I thought that some of the passages were kind of cringy, but it was okay. I really enjoyed this story. I think it's like the perfect queer romance to read this Pride Month, which, you know, I was pleasantly surprised. Yes, I need more books by Alison Cochrane because like she gets it so right. So these are all the books that I've read. I know, uncharacteristically, I read some books. I don't know what to tell you. It was a weird month. I was finishing my like last lessons and I'm now in exam period, so I'm stressed out. And when I'm stressed out, I read like a maniac. Is it my procrastination gene? Probably. If you want some queer recommendation from me, you can go down where my socials are, because I'm doing 1 queer recommendations a day on my TikTok. It's a fun time there if you want to connect with me. I hope you like this video. I hope you comment, like, do whatever you want, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye! Mwah!